Hi guys, welcome back to another video on Next.js. In this particular video, I'm going to be building an amazing live streaming application. So you can create a session of live streaming and other people with which you want to share the link of that live streaming, they can join your live streaming as an audience or as a co-host. Okay. And I'm going to show you all the different kinds of configuration you can do in this particular application. So this is the home page. It is showing this simple text and this is the description, and here it is showing this name. So if we want to start our own live streaming or if we want to join the existing live streaming link of someone else, we can start from here. So let me add my name over here and it will show this text box button and start a new live stream. If we want to start a new live stream after adding this username, we can click on this or start a new live stream. Or if we want to join someone else live stream, we can put the room ID over here and click on join. So let me start a new live stream first of all. So I can click on this start a new live stream. So it will take me to this page. And here you can see that I can turn off on the microphone or the camera, or I can just change the settings of audio video, and I can change my name as well, which is coming in from the previous route. Okay, and from here I can copy these links as well if we want someone to join this live stream as a co-host or as an RD audience, so they can join it as well. So audience and co-host will have a different permissions. So this is the reason it has two links. So let me join from here. So now I can actually navigate back to this. Just ignore the quality of the video for now. So you can see that at the bottom there is a microphone, this video cam, and I can increase it to the full screen. I can go to the settings, change the layout, or I can leave this live stream as well. Here you can see that it has room details, and I can copy the links from here and share with someone who want to join our live stream, or we want them to join our live stream. I can see all the people who are in this live stream. Currently it's only me, and I can chat with everyone from here. So let me click on go live. So I can start live streaming from here, and if I click on it, I can just share my screen. Okay, so now I can actually copy it from here. Let me copy this link, who wants to join this live stream as an audience, and let me open up another browser and paste this link over here. Okay, so now you can see that they can update their username, or they can have keep this username which is randomly generated. Okay, and if they want this link to be shared with someone else, they can copy from here. So let it join. So since this is an audience, they will not have too much options. They cannot speak, they cannot share their video, so they are just the audience. Okay, now you can see that. Okay, let me turn off the microphone. I am the admin, I am the host, so I have all these options. The audience does not have any options. So this is an audience who is watching me speaking currently. Okay, so you can see that it is just showing this join an audience, or they can just chat as well. Hi, I can send from here. This is an audience. Let's go over here, and you can see that this particular audience have sent me a message, hey there, and I can just talk to them like this. Okay, and just like the audience, I can copy the URL as a co-host, and co-host will have a little bit more options at the bottom, and they can actually see change the layout and some little bit more settings. Okay, so this is the application I'm gonna be building, and it is very cool application. If you want to integrate live streaming in your Next.js project, this is a very Kickstarter project for you guys. Okay, so now I'm going to start building this application from scratch by creating a new Next.js 15 project. So the tool which I'm going to be using in this particular tutorial for building live streaming application is called ZegoCloud. ZegoCloud is a global communication service which provides many developer friendly, powerful SDKs and APIs to build awesome applications like video call, chat, video conference, live streaming. So this is the app. You can open up ZegoCloud.com and go through all the features that it provides. It is supported by many global companies and being used by all these companies, and we can build all these different cool applications using its SDK as well as the UI kits, just like the video call, voice call, live streaming, AI effects, cloud recording. So we are going to be using the live streaming UI kits to build this one-on-one live streaming application in our Next.js 15. Okay, if I scroll down, it provides the UI kits. We can use the SDKs as well if we want to build our own UI, but I'm going to be using the UI kits, which are so awesome, and we have to spend very less time to build awesome applications. And if I scroll down, you will see that it provides us the feasibility and options to integrate ZegoCloud in all the different platforms like Android, iOS, Web, Flutter, React Native, Windows, macOS, Electron. So whether you are building mobile apps, desktop app, or web apps in any technology, you can integrate ZegoCloud with. Even if it does not provide UI kit for a particular technology, you can use the SDKs, APIs to integrate that in your technology. Okay, you can go through it. So now I'm gonna click on this explore all UI kits. So it build faster and ship more with the UI kits, okay, which I'm gonna be using in this particular tutorial. And if I scroll down, it has 20 plus UI kits, pre-built components to integrate in our application. It is open source. It has 50 plus components within those UI kits, and we can integrate it with the multiple platforms. Okay, and now if I scroll down, we can see that it provides the video calling, it provides a live video call, and we can integrate it with the one-on-one live streaming. This is our focus for this particular tutorial. So now I'm going to click on start building, and it's going to take us to the account page. This is where we need to create our account, and on the left side you can see that we can have its code set up with any of our technology within 30 minutes. If we create a new account, it will provide us 10,000 free minutes, which is quite awesome, and we can integrate it with any development environment, as I have already explained you. Okay, so first of all, let me start off with creating my new account. So I'm going to write my name, let's write the country, and I'm going to be writing my email, and I need to click on get code. So let's select all these checkboxes and click on get code. So now I need to verify a few things. Please click, hold, drag suitcase to the taxi. Okay, so I'm gonna take it here, verify. All right, so now I should be able to get the verification code in my email address. So I've got the code. Let me write the code which I've got in my email address and click on start your free trial. You can go through its pricing page. Its pricing are very comfortable and awesome. If you are building your MVP or any production level application, they provide a lot of options in terms of pricing. Okay, so now I'm going to select the company name, learning, job title. Let me click on engineering, industry. Let's click on IT technology, and let me add my phone number. So once I fill up these information, I can click on continue. After that, you can see that it is providing the same information, 10,000 minutes, which are going to be expired at this particular time. Support for next 15 days. So let's click on go to dashboard. After going to dashboard, you will see no project already created because we are just starting signing up with our new email address. So now I'm going to click on this create your first project, and here we can create multiple projects starting off with voice video calling, video conferencing application. I've already created a tutorial on creating a video conferencing application in Next.js. You can check that out in the description of this video, or then you can check the playlist of my Next.js tutorials. Now I'm going to click on live streaming. This is what I'm going to be building in this tutorial, and now click on next. So let's provide the project name here. So I'm going to write Next 15 live streaming. And below this, there are two ways to integrate live streaming in our Next.js application. One is UI kits, SDK. So I'm going to go with the UI kits. So let's click on start with UI kits. All right. So now it is going to take some time to initialize our application, maybe a few seconds, 10 to 15 seconds. So let's wait for it. Now we need to select the platform. So I'm going to go with the for web. Here you can see that it has added some basic configurations on the right side. So I'm going to enable all these options like the camera, audio settings, screen sharing, text chat, enable the camera. Now I'm gonna go and click on save and start to integrate at the bottom right corner. I need to allow browser to access my microphone and webcam, so let's click on allow. So after allowing microphone and camera, this is the initial UI that is going to be visible when someone try to join the room of live stream. So now I'm going to just click on this get the config file and integrate. So here it is showing the different options to run your application on the web platform. So we can download the customized app by deploying it or download the HTML file, and it's showing the app ID and the server secret, which I'll be using when I will be creating a new Next.js 15 project, because first of all we need to create the UI in our Next.js application using Tailwind CSS. For now, let's leave it like this, and I'm going to click on this dashboard, and here you can see that this is the app which we have created. So let's click on this live streaming. So I'll come back to this file for copying this app ID and the server secret once I'll set up and configure the UI in my Next.js application. For now, let's click on this view guide and open it up on a new browser tab. So on these docs, make sure you have selected live streaming kit from here and web JavaScript from here. So we can have different ways to actually integrate this live streaming kit of ZegoCloud. We can have HTML script, we can use it using WordPress. So I'm going to go with using npm package manager. So it is going to give us different steps through which we can integrate ZegoCloud live streaming kit in our Next.js application. You can see that I can click on this Next.js and Angular, Vue and React. So I will come back to this particular page once I set up my Next.js 15 project and set up the UI and state management system. So I've opened up an empty folder in VS Code, and in the terminal, I'm going to write npx create next app at latest dot, because I don't want to create a new folder for this project. So I'll hit enter, and it is going to ask me a few questions. So I'm going to select the TypeScript, ESLint, app directory structure. So let's do that. So first of all, the TypeScript, ESLint, yes, Tailwind CSS, yes, source directory, no, app directory, yes, turbo back, no. In this particular project, we don't need that, and import alias, no. So it's going to create the Next.js project along with the folders and files. Meanwhile, it is getting generated. If you go to my channel, Next.js tutorials and Next.js 14 tutorial, there is not much difference. Both use app directory structure. So you can follow the same videos of Next.js 14, 13 to build projects in Next.js 15 as well. So in these playlists, you will find that I have covered pretty much every topic of Next.js for you guys to become a good Next.js developer, like basics, routings, layouts, project-based videos, setting up the folder structure and architecture of your Next.js project with the help of CI/CD, Dockers, authentication systems, performance improvement like SEO, upgradation from one variant to another app, building full-fledged backend of REST API with the help of Next.js, theming, responsiveness, PWA, building weather apps, web scraping using Puppeteer, Zustand, server actions in Next.js, type scripting, best practices. So you can see I'm putting a lot of effort building these videos for you guys. So to help me out make more videos for you guys, I just need you guys to subscribe my channel and like my video. One thing more, since I'm using ZegoCloud in this particular tutorial, I've already created a video of video calling application using ZegoCloud as well. So I'm going to link this video in the description of this video. If you want to learn how to build a video calling application just like a Zoom clone with the help of ZegoCloud, you can follow this video as well. So our Next.js project is now created and set up. You can see that Next.js 15 version, React 19. So now let me first run the project if everything is going well. So npm run dev, this is the command I need to write. So it is running on localhost /3000. So let's open it up, localhost /3000. So this is the app which is running without any error. All right, so let me stop the server. Let me clear the terminal out. So first of all, I'm going to install all the dependencies which I will be needing in this particular project. So first of all, in the terminal, I'm going to write npm I, and I will be needing UUID for generating a random room ID for navigating to the URL. and then I will be needing Zustand to manage the state and passing the username from previous route to the next route, which is quite an awesome library. Then I will be needing the UUID types. So at types slash UUID. Okay, so let's hit enter. So these packages are going to be installed and its references are going to be added in our dependencies as well. So you can see here UUID and the stand are added over here, and also the type of UUID should be added over here as well. All right, so now let's go over here. Let's go to the documentation which I opened. So here let's also install this ZegoCloud UIKit pre-built as well. Okay, so here let's paste it. Let's hit enter. So these are going to be installed and added the reference of it over here in the dependencies as well. All right, you can see that it has been added. For now, I don't think we need anything else to be used. So let's clear the terminal. All right, and now if I open up app folder, if you don't know anything about Next.js, I will try to explain each and everything which I'm doing over here. Inside the app folder, we have this layout.tsx file. It runs before every route of our project, and this page.tsx file automatically becoming the home route. Okay, so whatever the UI you can see over here is coming in from page.tsx file. So page.tsx file directly within the app folder becomes the home route. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to remove everything from here. So let's do that. So instead, I'm going to write home page. Let's save it. npm run dev in the terminal. And now let's refresh this particular route. You will see that it will only show this home route over here. All right. So it has some default styling and theming. So I'm going to go into the global.css file and I'm going to remove everything from here except first 3 lines, because this is required to use Tailwind CSS for styling our application. You can see that now it's white. There is no default UI color is being applied to this page. So this is the home page. Now this particular home route, I'm going to be creating the UI which I showed you at the start of this video. The title, the description, the text boxes for writing the username, and also bring the room ID. Okay, so now first of all, I don't need this image. First of all, I will be needing to add some UI in this page.tsx. Okay, so I'm going to go to the layout.tsx file. First of all, let's go down, and here I can actually so this is where the content of this page.tsx file, this div is being passed to here in the children. This is why it runs before every route of our Next.js application. Now let's go up. So I'm not going to add these fonts. Let's remove it. Instead, rather than adding this font local, I'm going to add the Google font, and Google font gives us the enter. Okay, let's save it. And now rather than having this metadata above, I'm going to add const enter equals to the enter and subset colon, and I'm going to write Latin. So let's remove everything within this and add enter.class name. Let's save it and let's see if everything is working fine. Yes, everything working fine. Now the style of this home text is changed a little. You might not see the difference because it's too small, but that is fine. So that's it for this file. Let's close it. And now in this particular home page, I'm going to style this a bit. I'm not going to explain too much about HTML CSS because for web development, I'm expecting you guys to already know HTML CSS, Tailwind CSS, how to write these. Okay, so first of all, width full, height screen. Okay, let's save it. Let's go over here. Still it's showing on the top left corner. So inside this particular div, I'm going to add a section. Okay, and this section is going to have another class name bg gray 950. Text is going to be the white. So let's save it. Let's see if we have this changed. All right, so currently it contains nothing. Let's add this text. And now you can see that the all the text which is being visible over here is having this particular background. So as we move along and add some more styling, it is going to take the full size of this particular page. So inside this particular section, I'm going to add another div, and this div is going to take a few texts, right? But first of all, let's add some class name to it. mx auto, max width screen excel. I'm going to add the height screen to this as well. Padding horizontally 4, padding y 32, flex colon gap 24, and flex items center. Okay, so let's save it. Let's go. Now you can see that it's looking pretty good and everything is at the center. This is the text that we have. Now this is where we are going to be adding over titles, okay, over title, description, text boxes. First of all, I'm not going to spend too much time on the styling, guys. Instead, I'm going to just adding it from my notes. So let me do that. I'm expecting you guys to already know the HTML. So let me import this image text. So import image from next image. Currently logo.svg does not exist. So I'm going to add it over here. So the public have these files, file, globe, next, svg. So let me add the logo which I have in my notes in my file structure. So let's add that. It's added. So let's save it. Now you can see that this logo is added. You can have your own logo if you are building the real world production level application. Okay, so after this I'm going to add another div for the things which I'm just going to show you. So this is the div. All right, and inside this particular h1 I'm going to just add this part, and let's add the closing div as well. So now you can see that have a smooth live streaming text is added. These are the simple Tailwind CSS classes, and this has nothing to do with the functionality or ZegoCloud or live streaming. These are just the styling. Okay, and after that I'm going to add the description with these styling. So let's add that, and this is the description that is added. After that I need to add the, you know what, I need to add the text box for writing the username, and once I'll start writing the username, below that I will be needing the room ID as well as the button. Okay, currently you can see that it is showing that set full name does not exist. So at the top I need to add few things. So now const room ID set room ID, okay, equals to use state. Like this, use state has to be imported, so let's import that. And after that I will be needing the router from the use router to navigate to the next room page from next navigation. All right, and so now I need to have this set full name actually should be coming in from the state management system. You can see that I've already imported this Zustand. So I'm going to add a new folder at the root. So this is going to be called the hooks, and hooks is going to contain use user.ts. Okay, so how Zustand can be used? So first of all we need to add a create from Zustand, and then interface is going to be the I user. I'm going to add then interface is going to take the full name of type string, and then set full name of type. It is going to take a name, actually not number, of type string, arrow function void. Okay, so now let's save it. Now below this I'm going to add use user, which is the hook, and then the create I user, set arrow function like this, and then the full name is going to be an empty string, and set full name. Actually it should not have this equal, it should have this colon. So now colon, it is going to take the name string, and then set full name colon name. Okay, it has to have this ending parentheses over here. Okay, and it should not have this parentheses like it. Okay, and then export default use user. All right, so this is the syntax of Zustand. Zustand will help us to share the data between multiple pages and multiple components without using the prop drilling. That is a concept of React. So if we are setting the full name in one home route and we are navigating to another route, then we can access this username, which is the full name, in other routes as well without passing it in the form of parameters or using the props drilling. It is very easy using this stand. We can use Redux toolkit, or the React context API as well, but I have opted for the stand. Okay, so let's save it, let's close it, these files, and inside the page.tsx I'm going to add that use user, which is going to be imported. So I'm going to write const full name, set full name, and this is going to be coming in from the use user hook which I have just created. Okay, so let's write use effect. So whenever this component is going to be mounted, I'm going to set the full name to an empty string. Okay, so let's add an empty array over here. All right, so error should be gone, and let's go over here. So you can see that I'm using use router. So whenever we use any kinds of hooks, that component should be converted into the client component. So I need to write use client at the top. Now it's working. You can see that it's looking pretty good. So now let's come down below this particular div. I'm first going to add a check. So this check should be like full name and full name dot length greater than equals to 3, and like this, and inside it I'm going to add this and then div. Okay, so inside this div I'm going to be adding the further styling. So let's add the class name. So for this class name, let me copy it from my notes and let's paste it over here. And inside this particular div I'm going to add another input, set room ID. So let's copy it from here, let's update. These are just the spelling mistakes. So let me explain you what is happening here. So this is the input. On change is an event that is setting the current value which is being entered in this input in this state variable. So whenever I'm going to add the set full name, it is going to update the full name of that Zustand instance. Okay, so it means that this full name can be accessed in other components and other page.tsx files, other routes as well. Okay, so this data sharing between multiple components is already happening. We just need to import use user and just use full name, and we can share the data from one component to other component. Okay, and here you can see that this is the local state variable. On change is going to set the value with this help of set room ID over here. Okay, so now after this import I'm going to add a button like this, and you can see if I write something, it is going to show this join. Okay, so it is not showing after this text box. So let me see what got wrong here. So actually I need to remove it from here and it should be added within this particular div. Okay, now you can see that it is after this thing. All right, so now on click, it is using router and it is navigating us to this route /room ID, which is being set from here. Whatever is added in this set room ID. Okay, we can copy it. If someone can share us the room ID, we can just paste it, and on click it is going to generating this route. After that, by default I'm setting the role to audience. Okay, when someone try to join with this URL, the default route should be audience. Okay, but you can change it to co-host as well. All right, so now I'm going to add another text below. If someone don't want to join with the help of room ID, he wants to add a username and wants to start a new live stream session. So to do that, I'm not going to add the role, but instead I'm going to generate a UUID, random ID, and navigate to that route. It is going to be the same page /room/room ID. But in this case, I'm not going to be using the room ID. Instead, I'm going to be generating the random ID because this is a new session. Okay, so outside this particular div, I'm going to add another div. So this is just the button. You can see UUID does not exist, so let's bring that in above like this. So import v4 as UUID from UUID. Okay, so now if I save it, you can see that I can hover over it or start a new live stream. If I click on it, it will take us to 404 page because we have not yet created this dynamic room page, which we have yet to create. So our homepage UI is done. Let me show you it completely. So you can just go through it, pause the video, and if you want to add these styling, you should be able to add these styles as well. Okay, so now let me zoom in, and I'm going to create a new route. So I'm going to add a new folder. So in Next.js, when we create a new folder, the name of that folder becomes the route. So I'm going to add room over here. Okay, and to make the dynamic routes, we can actually wrap a folder within these square brackets. So room ID within these square brackets. So this folder, whenever we create a file with the name page.tsx, whether it is JSX or TSX, okay, then that particular folder with that name becomes the route. So this particular page.tsx will run, let me generate this data room. Okay, so this route is going to become localhost :/room/random number, random ID, because this is within the square brackets. So /room/123, let's say. So this is the route, and in the from the page.tsx, this is where we are navigating from here. So /room/anything after that. Okay, and it doesn't affect with the query params, so we can add any query params as we want, and the same thing we are passing over here. Okay, /room and /room ID. Room ID can be given by someone else who is already running the live streaming. Okay, so now let's close it. And now in this particular component, I'm going to first of all convert it into the use client, because there will be a lot of UI that require user interaction. Okay, and I'm going to load the complete live streaming components from ZegoCloud dynamically. Means I'm going to disable the server side rendering, because there will be a lot of DOM manipulation required. So server side rendering can cause some errors. So dynamic from next dynamic, and let me import another component. Let's create that, and in that component I'm going to be writing all the logic of live streaming. So let me add room component .tsx. So RAFCE. So this is the room component. So this is the component which I'm going to be importing dynamically. So room component dynamic import like this. So SSR equals to false. So let's save it. So this is the room component I have imported dynamically with the help of this dynamic function from next components. Room component SSR equals to false. So I need to use that. So now I actually need to pass this room ID, whatever is in the URL. I need to fetch that and pass it to this particular component. So rather than actually div, I'm going to add the room component, and I need to add the params equals to the params like this. And params can be fetched from with this syntax params, and this is going to be room ID of type string. Okay, so now this child component is going to be rendered. So from this particular page, if I write or start a new live stream, let's click on that. You can see that the URL is generated properly on /room/uuid generated ID, and it is showing DFD, and DFD is being rendered from this room component over here, which is being dynamically loaded from here. So now in this particular component, I'm going to write everything which require that live streaming functionality. First of all, let me receive these params. So here I'm going to write params of type params and the room UUID. Okay. Now in this component, I'm going to write the const search params equals to use search params from next navigation. I will be needing that to get the if the role is audience, role is co-host, if it exists or not in the URL. Okay, this is why I would need that. I will also be needing the path name to construct the URL for sharing with someone, whether we're creating the live streaming. So in order to share that, we will be needing that. And also I need the room ID. So I'm going to write the room ID equals to params dot room ID. All right. So I'm now using that. Let's get the full name as well. So let's add the full name from that Zustand. I am writing the full name in the previous route. Now I need to load that full name in this route as well. That this is the reason I'm using Zustand. So I can use the use user hook. Now let me show the full name, whether it gets visible over here or not. Okay, it's showing the error. Let me see. The parents property with X room ID parent now promise and should be unwrapped with use user. So let me see. We have this thing, params UUID. So let me generate it again. Let's go back. Let's refresh it. Let me write Umair Jamil, Umair, and now or start a new live stream. All right, so it is showing Umair. That means that we are successfully passing the username, but it is showing this error that the param is now a promise. In the previous versions of Next.js, it was not a promise, so we need to handle it just like a promise. Okay, so if you go to the documentation of Next.js, you can see that this is how we need to handle the params now. But there are few things we need to tackle now. Currently, we have converted into the use client. The reason is that the dynamic import actually recommended by Next.js to be added within the client component. But to add an async and the promise, it has to be a server-side component. So it's good that we have come across this particular error, because the error are the best way to learn new things. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually update this room component and import this child component in this component and add a new component for all the live streaming. Okay, so first of all, let me create a new component, and this is going to be the live stream.tsx RAFCE live stream. Okay, like this. Let me save it. And I'm going to actually remove this use client from here and just copy this, cut it, go over here, paste it over here, and I'm going to remove this as well. In fact, I'm just going to cut it, paste it over here. Let me add the use client at the top. And here, since this has become the server side component because I'm not writing use client, and I'm also going to load this particular component directly like this. Now let's go to the documentation, and this is how we need to proceed. Let's add the promise, and let's add the promise in this way. So promise, and let's add it like it. And I need to actually write async over here. And now I can actually use this thing, this syntax. Let's come over here. Let's add the room ID. So let's add the room ID over here, and let's add room ID directly to our child component. So room ID is not being received in the child component. So let's update that. So let's add the room ID like this. Okay, so let me print the room ID if it is being printed from here, and this name has to be this has to be the live stream from here. Live stream. Let's copy it, and now it is updated. Now I'll be using the live stream over here, and I need to convert that into use client because we are dynamically importing the child component. And let's cut it from here. Let's paste it over here. Use state, use effect in case we might need that. Okay, so live stream. So let's add live stream over here, room ID, and then the room ID. So from here, I'm just going to pass the room ID to this. Let's add that room ID. Okay, and let me show the room ID like this. Room ID, and remove this line. All right, if you get confused, I will be explaining you just now what I have done. So let's save it. Let's go over here. Now you can see that the error is gone and we are able to show this room ID. Let me go back, let me refresh, and let me write my name, start a new session, and there is no error, and we are able to see this room ID. So let me explain you what I have done. This is a server component which is here, and we have to use these params in the form of promise now according to the documentation in new Next.js variant. This is the reason I've written async, because I needed to write a wait over here, and this has to be in the form of promise. And I'm fetching the room ID. This room ID is referring to the folder name within the square brackets. So this should match with the folder name dynamic route. Okay, and I'm passing room ID from here, and this is going over here, and this is the use client. The reason is that I'm actually loading the child component live stream dynamically, and Next.js recommend to convert that component into the client side, because we are dynamically loading, because we are just disabling server side rendering for the live stream. And now from this component we are just adding the live stream, passing the room ID, and then we are just showing room ID over here. This was just to see whether it's working fine, but although we don't need room ID to print over here. Okay, so now here I need to use the ZegoCloud UIKit to show all kinds of live streaming thing. Okay, so let's save it. If you are following along with me, make sure you are good up till now. So now let's go over here. So we have already installed this, and it has these React, Next.js, Angular views. So I'm going to go with the React, although we are using Next.js, but I don't like the way it has implemented. So I'm going to modify whatever is written over here according to my need in Next.js 15 version. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is we have this thing, search param id, full name, uh, and now we can actually copy it from here, import this and import it over here. ZegoCloud UIKit, this is something we will be needing. What else we need? So we are already generating the UUID, so we don't need to copy this particular function, right? So just don't copy it. And we are already fetching the room ID from URL, and also the role for the user from the URL. So we don't need this as well. Okay. So what we need is, first of all, from the search params we need to get the role. So whether role is host, whether is a co-host or is an audience. Okay, so here it is actually using this thing, using this function, but I'm not using this, and this is the reason I'm using this search param. So not search param, it has to be the path name from next navigation. Okay, now below this I'm going to write let role underscore str equals to search params dot get role. If role does not exist in the URL, then by default I'm going to set it to the host. Okay, host is us who are first time creating an instance of the live streaming. So role string is something which it is actually asking it to create. After that, let me copy this code role and let's paste it below. Okay, what's error is showing, never reassign const instead. Okay, so role, so let me add it the const over here. All right, so now this is where it is checking if the role is equals to the host. Then the ZegoCloud UI pre-built kit is setting to the host. This is the variable which we are later going to be used, that who is going to take the permission for this particular live stream. If it is a co-host, then set it to co-host. If it is not, then set it to audience. Okay, now let's see what we have next. We need to create a shared links. Shared links means that whenever we are on this next on this page, then we on the right side I showed you we had to update the username, and below that we had two links, share as a join as a co-host or join as an audience. So there has to be the two shared links that we need to create. Okay, so let's go over here, let's copy the shared links from here. All right, and rather than actually using this syntax, using this window.location.protocol path name, I'm not gonna be using this particular thing because we have a different routing structure. We are not appending this room ID of as a query param like this is showing over here. Let me zoom in after the question mark. Instead, our room ID exists as a dynamic URL, so I'm not going to be using it. Instead, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to get the current URL. Current URL equals to the window.location.host plus I'm going to write the path name. Path name is using from the Next.js use path name. So current URL, let me log what is being printed in the current URL. So let me save it. Okay, so let's go over here, let's refresh. So currently it is a client component, so let me go inspect console log. So this is the current URL, localhost colon 3000/room/this ID. So we are good up till now. Okay, so after this I'm going to check whether we are host or co-host. Then we are set the role equals to co-host after this URL. Okay, so now let's do that. So let me copy it from the documentation. If you are opening the documentation, you can just copy this. So let's copy this if condition. It is copied. Now under this, I'm going to update this array like it. So shared link dot push, you can write anything over here. It will be visible as a title, the label of that URL. And now I'm appending the question mark role equal to co-host with this current URL. Okay, and we have to add audience for all kinds of users, whether it's the host, whether it's co-host, or whether it's audience. Okay, so we don't need to write any condition. For audience role, I can update this shared links over here, update this URL. Okay, so now if I go over here and let's refresh, currently it's showing it over here, current URL. Now if I try to print the shared links, now you can see that we have two links, and these links are having the role as a query param after this URL, role equals to co-host and role equals to audience. Perfect. Now next what we need to do is we need to create an env file. So I'm going to write .env, and inside this I need to add next underscore public underscore Zego underscore app underscore ID equals to, and next public Zego server secret. Okay, so these are the two things I need to copy from my ZegoCloud dashboard. I've already configured that and I've showed you in this particular video. I'm not going to show you mine, but you can add yours. So if I go to the dashboard of ZegoCloud, so these two things, this is an app ID and this is the server secret. You need to copy app ID and put it over here. Okay, and then you need to copy this server secret and put it over here. Once you add the environment variables, let's bring that in. So first one is the app ID equals to process.env, and this has to be next public Zego app underscore ID. Okay, and let's add this so that it knows it can never be undefined. Then we have const server secret, Zego server secret. All right, and after that we need to create a kit token. So let's go over here and let's go down. So this is the kit token. So let me copy this whole line and let's paste it below. So let's save it. So this is the kit token using the ZegoCloud UIKit pre-built generate kit token for the tests. So first one require an app ID. It has to be a number. So I'm going to convert it into the parse int like this. Okay. Then it will require a secret. Then it will require a room ID. So room ID is something which we are already fetching. So room ID, did you mean room ID? Yes, so what we have here, yes, so this is the room ID, so I'm going to copy it, and then we need to create the random ID. So let me see what it would need. So if I write comma, you can see that first one is app ID, then the server secret, then room ID, then the user ID. So I'm going to generate user ID randomly dynamically. In a large application, if you are building authentication in your application, you might want to add the logged in user ID for this thing at this place. But for now, I'm going to generate UUID. And for UUID, let me import that. So this is going to be import v4 UUID like this. So I'm just going to remove these because I don't think we need these hooks. Okay, and let's go down. So UUID is added. Now we need to add the username. Username is being passed from the parent component over here. Okay, in case someone try to navigate to the room page directly, then we want to add generate the dynamic username. Someone using the using the shared URL for joining an existing live stream, then he won't be able to write the full name. So full name, if it does not exist, then let's show something for the user. So let's add the user, and after that let's add date.now. Okay, and user can actually update their username as well. So what we have next, uh, after this comma, we can have the expiration settings, so the link when it should expire. Okay, so link can be expired in seconds, 720 seconds. Okay, how many minutes these are? I think these are 10 minutes. Okay, it's up to you. So kit is not being used. Shared links, let's ignore that for now. So after this kit token, we need to generate a my meeting. So this is something we need to generate. Let's copy it and let's add it over here. So what we have here, my meeting, it is going to take an element. So let me give it an any element, create an instance of it, ZegoCloud create kit token. This is where we are passing kit token, and then using this variable join room with the element scenario is going to be the live stream config role, and this is where we are passing the shared links. All right, now let's save it, and here we actually need to use this my meeting as a reference link. So I'm not going to add anything over here as a room ID. Instead, I'm going to add ref and then my meeting. Let's save it. Okay, so currently it's showing this ESLinting error, I think. Okay, so we can ignore that. Let's add any over here and it should be gone. Okay, let's go over here and let's see. Now you can see that it is showing this awesome looking UI. So our component is loading. So what is the error? Join room repeat. So we are actually saving and making changes. This is the reason it is showing this kind of error. But let's fix the UI first. So why it is showing this at the top? So I'm going to add the class over here. So class name equals to, let's add width full and height screen. So let's save it. Let's see. Yes, it is at the center now. So I'm going to just rerun the server. All right, so we are at the home route, and let me write my name and let's start a new live stream. Click on it and it should take us to this room slash this ID, which is perfect, and we can see this is being passed from the previous route to this, and it is showing these shared links: join as a co-host, join as an audience. So it is showing these errors now, join room repeat, and I believe that it will not happen in production. It is only happening in development of Next.js. The reason is that in development, every route renders 2 times. It refreshes 2 times in development mode because it helps us debug the code if we come across any kind of error. So let me disable this in my Next.js, even in development, and see whether this issue occurs or not. So in the code, let me open up this next config, and inside this config I'm going to add this react strict mod equals to I think it has to be the false. All right, so now let's refresh it, and if I refresh it, let's see if this error occurs or not. So it is refreshed, the error is not shown. It means that this component only renders once, and it automatically renders once on production. It was happening in development. Let's verify if this error occurs if we are generating a new room. So let's go over here. Let me write my name, start a live stream, and now we are in the live stream and there is no error. So make sure, it is not a good practice to make it false in the development mode because it will not help us detect the errors or bugs. But for now, let's keep it false, okay, even in development. So I think we are good. Whatever we have done from here, these are simple, the ESLinting errors. And if you want to ignore it, we can add disable prefer const. So use instead unknown, and over any we can go over here disable. For this line, you can see that it is disabled now, and we can disable these as well, but these will not affect the functionality. So I'm gonna go over here. So I'm just saving these files again and again. On production we will not be saving these files, so this is the reason these are just being generated. So let's refresh the page. Okay, so now there is no error. Let's click on join. Now the reason it is showing user, because I'm just refreshing the page and it is not being passed from the previous component. On refresh, the temporary data in using Zustand is not maintained. Okay, just like the Redux or context API. So let me change my name over here, and I'm going to click on join. All right, so now you can see that I'm in the live stream. Let's go to the live stream mode. So I'm in the live stream. Let's go over here. There is no user currently. I'm the only one. Let me just mute and just keep it enabled and mute it. And if I go to the information, let's copy the join as audience. Let's go to another browser. Let's paste it. And now I'm in this browser, and it is only showing the audience because audience link was generated dynamically without any condition. You remember that I didn't add any condition, so it is visible for all the users. Now click on join, and I'm not having any kind of options to speak or anything like that, because I'm just an audience and I cannot speak, but I can just chat over here. Okay, so now let's go over here. Let's go, and now you can see that I can see this is the audience, and which is watching me currently. Okay, so let's go over here. Let's copy is at a co-host. Okay, so let's add as a co-host. Allow, because co-host can actually speak or share the video. Okay, so let's close the video for the co-host and the mic as well, and then the join over here. Okay, you can see that for co-host it has all the options as well, and let me see my actual screen. And now you can see that I have this is me. This is the user, which is a co-host, because it has this microphone and camera enabled. And then this is actually the audience. All right, so our live stream is working. I'm here, and this is where, so currently why is it showing this? So it can show this network error. The reason is that we have added this expiration date, and I actually took a break in between while recording this video. This is the reason. So initially you want to add an unlimited value over here, or maybe 10,000 would be good, or maybe half an hour, and this error will not be visible. Okay, which is showing over here. So but this is not a problem. So you can see that our live stream is working, and it is pretty much configured in our project. This is an initial ground up level of infrastructure for this live streaming app with the help of ZegoCloud. And you can see that in just 30 minutes we are able to configure our Next.js project with the live stream functionality using the UI kits provided by ZegoCloud, and it is amazing. It's looking cool, and all the features are automatically enabled over here, and it provide a lot of configuration options. If I go to the documentation and go down here, you can see that it has all the parameters available over here. We can set the resolutions for the screen, width, height, frame rate, max bit rate. We can set the max users who can join in one single live streaming from 2 to 20, and we can add all these configurations as well. So here within this join room below the shared link, here we can add a lot of configuration. If I start writing show, you can see that it is showing a lot of different configurations, starting off with the show keyword, show leaving view, show more button, show my camera toggle button, show non-video user. So these are all the configuration options I can add, and it depends upon the requirement of your project. You can go through the documentation and you can see all the different configuration options available here. Background URL, we can add the background during the video. So it's quite awesome. It's quite amazing. The ZegoCloud have provided a lot of different features which might take us months to build if we go custom. So So that's pretty much it for this video. I'll be creating more videos in Next.js in upcoming weeks or days. So stay tuned, do subscribe my channel, like this video. Till then, thank you so much for watching, guys. See you in the next video.